Hey guys, so I'm super excited about one of the things that we're going to be studying for the next couple of weeks. Um, since we've been home on quarantine, I have kind of started the habit of getting up in the morning and having my cup of coffee at our dinner table, which has 3 huge windows. And it's been lovely because I can see what's going on outside and I can look at the sky. And most importantly, I can look at the clouds and see what's going on with them. It inspired me because I've gotten so much enjoyment out of looking at the clouds, and I thought maybe you guys would enjoy it too. So I've even purchased this amazing book, the Cloud Collector book, which is almost like a scavenger hunt, but with clouds. So some clouds that you see all the time have a lower value point, and then some of the clouds that are harder to find, you get a higher value. So it's something that you can do throughout your life. And so since I've had some time to think and just to kind of be, I thought cloud spotting might be a cool thing for me to do. So when we're talking about clouds, we need to remember that there are 2 ways to classify them. The first is through height, so how high up in the sky are those clouds? And the second is through shape. So there are 4 primary shapes, but that doesn't mean there are only 4 kinds of clouds. Some of the clouds are compound clouds, and they sort of work together, and they kind of combine to make their own unique kind of cloud. But for this video, what I want you to know is that the 4 types of clouds are the stratus, the cumulus, the cirrus, and the nimbus. Okay, so I'm going to try to show you a few pictures of these clouds just so you have an understanding of what's what. Okay, if you can see right here, right, these are what the cumulus clouds look like. So the cumulus clouds are usually low in the sky, and these are the clouds that when you're little, or maybe even still now, you would draw, right? They're super easy to draw in a picture, right? And it's what we think of usually when we think of a cloud. They're nice and fluffy and usually bright white, right? And sometimes I've heard them compared to cauliflower, or big bales of cotton, big puffs of cotton. It almost looks like if you touched them, right, they would be full of the softest things you've ever felt. But of course, if you touch them, that wouldn't be the case because they're not made up of anything that you can actually grab a hold of. They're made up of water droplets. But so we usually see cumulus clouds on a fair weather day. So when the sun is out, we usually see them early in the morning. Sometimes by the afternoon they start to dissipate, or other kinds of clouds come in, or these cumulus clouds either stretch out or come together with other clouds and make a new kind of cloud. All right, so that's the cumulus. Here's the stratus. So the stratus is not something that we associate with a beautiful day. Sometimes when we see fog, that's a type of stratus cloud. But stratus cloud, they're like clouds that are layered, one on top of each other, right? So it almost looks like this big veil that's shading the sun from us, right? And so you can't see the sun, you can't see anything blue in the sky. It's kind of depressing. They're usually gray or white. Not necessarily clouds that produce a lot of rain, even though it looks like they could. Usually these clouds, if they're going to produce any kind of precipitation, and precipitation will be the water that falls from the sky. If it's going to produce any kind of precipitation, it would be a light snow or a light rain. All right, but these are not the most friendly looking clouds, but they don't cause us too much trouble other than they're just kind of depressing. All right, these are my favorite. These are my favorite. Okay, these clouds are the cirrus clouds. Right, so cirrus is a word from the Latin, or is based on the Latin word for cirrus, which means hair or horse, horsehair, because of the way that the clouds are wisped, right? So you can see these are all different types of cirrus clouds. They're not fluffy and full like the cumulus clouds. They're just kind of like an artist took a white paintbrush and just, you know, beautifully and gracefully made little swoops or swishes across the paper. Now, these clouds are usually higher up in the sky. So because they're high up and they're so far up in our atmosphere, instead of them being full of water droplets, they're full of ice crystals. And so what happens with these clouds is when the wind blows way up in the atmosphere, right, it has these ice crystals kind of like making those swirls. That's caused by the wind, and there's little itty bitty ice crystals in those clouds. All right, and then the last one. Oh my goodness, let me see if I can find. So this book doesn't actually have a picture of a nimbus cloud by itself, but I'm gonna go ahead and show you a cumulonimbus. Oh my goodness. Okay, so these clouds, the nimbus clouds, nimbus is Latin for rain. So these are the kinds of clouds that are, instead of going vertically or horizontally rather across the sky, these are clouds that are shaped vertically. So there's been an analogy that if our sweet, fluffy, friendly cumulus clouds are the Luke Skywalker of clouds, these guys are most definitely the Darth Vader, right? They're ominous. They can produce a lot of severe weather. They can produce thunderstorms. They can produce tornadoes. They can produce just all kinds of severe weather, right? And sometimes they can be the longest, so that almost looks like they're touching the ground. They get so low, and then they can go up, way up into the atmosphere. Okay, so those are the types. And then I'm gonna actually make another video and go over them by their height, okay? All right, guys, see you in a minute.